The New Testament Gospels of Luke and Matthew both used the word virgin. Matthew quotes from the Old Testament book of Isaiah. What verse does Matthew quote from in the Old Testament? Matthew quotes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. Notice how different English translations use a different word in Isaiah 7:14. Some translations use the word virgin. Other translations use the words young woman. Why are they different? I'll give you a short answer. Back during early church times, the gospel writers had two options to pick from for which language of the Old Testament to use: either the Hebrew language Old Testament or the Greek language Old Testament. Now, strange but true, at that time long ago, the Hebrew language Old Testament was hard to find. More popular and more common was the Greek language Old Testament. The Greek language Old Testament has a special name. It's called the Septuagint. The Hebrew language Old Testament also has a special name. It's called the Masoretic. But the Hebrew translation that we call the Masoretic was not yet formally established until the 9th century A.D. Before that time, people had the Hebrew language copies of the Hebrew language Old Testament, but the Masoretic only became the official approved copy around the 9th century A.D. Guess when the Greek language translation of the Old Testament was first written and made? It was in the 2nd century B.C., long before. My point is, when you see in the English Old Testament Isaiah 7:14 with the word virgin, that's coming from the Greek language Old Testament. And when you see in the English Old Testament Isaiah 7:14 with the words young woman, that's coming from the Hebrew language Old Testament. So which one is right? They both are. But I need a long Bible study to explain why. But it really doesn't matter which is used, because remember, from a Jewish cultural perspective, from that time long ago, a young woman meant an unmarried, not yet married woman, and that meant a virgin.